Alright folks, this is the Silent Lord here, and I'm taking a break from the one true repeating Scotsman, better known as Robert. So today I'm going to address State of Daniel's video, 4 reasons to believe in God. So let's see what this clean-shaven fruitcake has to say.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? Is it possible to prove God exists? In a scientific sense, no it isn't. You can't experiment, observe, or measure God.
If you can't prove something scientifically, then there is no good reason to believe in it.
But I still think there are a lot of reasons to believe that God's existence is probable. The reason I wanted to make this video is because if you watch atheists on YouTube, they'll bash and mock religion all day long, but they'll never once give you a reason to actually be an atheist.
And why should we? Not all atheists bash religion. Unless you consider pointing out the flaws, the stupidity, the inconsistency of it bashing, then yes, we all bash religions.
And you know what? I don't want to be like that. So instead of being negative and criticizing atheism, I want to give you 4 very distinct reasons to believe in God.
This is the Christian way of saying 4 reasons to believe in God that you already heard before, but didn't buy the first time.
Individually, some of these arguments are stronger or weaker than others, but together I think they make a very good case for belief in the divine creator.
Another Christian way of saying they are all bullshit arguments that can be applied to more than one sky fairy.
The first reason is the argument from design. The premise is that where there is a design, there must be a creator. And when you look around the universe and at all of its intricacies, it's pretty clear that there is design. So if there's always a creator behind design, then there must be a creator for our universe. I mean, think about it. If you saw a wooden house on the beach, you wouldn't think that the wind or waves of a hurricane put it together. You would know that someone intelligent put it together. When you see design, you immediately know there's a designer. An atheist wouldn't believe that a painting came together by chance. So why would you think the same about such a wondrous universe? You know, there's actually this theory that if you gave 1 million monkeys 1 million typewriters, they'd eventually randomly type out the entire works of Shakespeare. Yet whenever we see Romeo and Juliet lying around, we don't think it was randomly created. It's strange that atheists would apply this same logic to the existence of everything. Even if you believe in evolution, evolution is just proof of a divine creator. The evolving order of species from simple to complex sounds very much like a well-designed and very intentional plot.
A lot of bullshit right there, folks. What must be understood here is the difference between organic and living materials and inorganic and non-living materials. Living things can grow and change over time, where non-living things can't. A painting is an inorganic material or object. It can't come to be on its own. It can't change on its own. It needs something to act on it because it's non-living. And we have proof for the painter that painted it. Their signature, documentation, the painter himself, and the house being put together by a hurricane. It's moronic and doesn't make sense. With evolution, there is no design or grand plan. There is just evolution constantly changing over time. There's no end, so there's no point. We are not the end product. We are just a mere step in the whole thing.
The second argument is known as the first cause argument. Everything needs an explanation. If you randomly saw a dog in your house, you would not think that it magically appeared there. You would know that there's an explanation behind it. Maybe your parents got a new dog, or maybe it snuck in when you weren't looking. Everything has an explanation. Everything has a cause because everything is interlocked. You were caused by your parents, who were caused by your grandparents, who were caused by your ancestors. Everything in this world can be traced back and back and back. So it makes sense that the entire universe must also have a cause. The universe has to have a first cause or it would be impossible to exist. Think of yourself as a caboose on this great freight train, and your parents are the next boxcar, and your grandparents are the next boxcar. There has to be an engine at the end of the train or else none of the boxcars move. A universe without a first cause is like a moving train without an engine. It's impossible. Now, a skeptic might ask, so who created or caused God? But anyone who asks that has actually missed the point of the argument. As Peter Kreeft says, the argument doesn't use the premise that everything needs a cause. Rather, everything in motion needs a cause, everything dependent needs a cause, and everything imperfect needs a cause.
Everything in motion needs a cause. But in order to cause something, one needs motion. Thoughts cause actions. For example, if you think about food, you'll get hungry, or you might get sick. So, when you think about an action, you're bound to do it. So you need to have thought to do an action. So, and then imperfect things need a cause. That makes no sense. So your God needs a cause. He is an all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving, and all-just, and is everywhere. Yet he can't undo what Satan did in a single conversation. That screams not perfect. So what caused God?
The third reason is the argument of miracles. I can't perform miracles and you can't perform miracles. In fact, miracles can't come from any humans and they can't come from nature. So if miracles exist, then so must God. So consider the miracle of the sun, where the sun cast multicolored lights and zigzagged across the sky for 10 minutes. An estimated 100,000 people witnessed this in Portugal.
The miracle of the sun is simple. If you put a lot of religious people in one location, and they all want to see a miracle or something out of the ordinary, of course they will say that they saw it. It's called herd think, or herd mentality. One person might say something, and everyone else will just go with it. And plus, if you look at the sun for too long, or any other bright light, you'll start seeing speculative colors randomly appearing. When you go to the doctor's office, they shine a bright light in your eye. It's the same thing. This happens all the time. And also, sunlight bends and splits into different wavelengths when shined through a prism, i.e. rainbows after it rains. You can even make a rainbow on your own. All you need is a wire hose and spray water. In the bright day, let's see a nice rainbow form in the water. Not that complex. And I'll put some links down below that also better explain this miracle.
Or consider the countless medical miracles that are impossible or inexplicable by even the brightest minds in medicine and science.
The medical miracles that are impossible is actually just really unlikely. The odds are very slim for a person to survive certain medical conditions, but there are still odds that they can make it. Just because something has a slim chance of happening does not make it a miracle when it does happen.
Or consider the blood of St. Januarius, which is said to liquefy and solidify annually.
This is best explained by science, not really my area. This isn't exactly something I'm familiar with, but I will tell you something from the links that I'll post down below that I saw, that people could look at, scientists were allowed to look at, but they couldn't take it and test it at a lab, double check in an experiment. So it's not exactly a miracle, since they can't exactly take a sample of it and then try to reproduce it. If they can't reproduce it, no matter what, it's a miracle. But spoiler alert, someone did that. And also, only the religious people seem to be believing in this miracle. No one else seems to be buying it. Well, the links will be down below.
I myself have witnessed a miracle. I was in Romania one time for a mission trip and I put 5 gospel tracts in my pocket. And throughout the day, I was handing out these pamphlets to people, and it wasn't until the day was over that I realized that I had passed out over 20.
First off, personal stories and experiences does not count as evidence or credible unless there's something supporting it. Secondly, the most reasonable answers are: you put more than 5 in your back pocket, you forgot that you had more on you or from previous times, or you're taking them from a different location, or you gathered more over time. And finally, you could just be lying about the whole thing. You're not supplying much proof that you had 5 and you end up doing the whole Jesus fish bread miracle thing. So
I was in Romania with a missions team and we had actually divided the pamphlets among themselves. So there's no logical explanation other than a miracle that I was able to pass out more than 5.
Like I said earlier, you could be lying about the entire event.
The evidence is there for those who have the heart to see it.
In other words, you have to already believe in miracles and a sky fairy, and be on the lookout for miracles. Or anything that can count as a miracle, something you think is impossible that can happen on its own. So,
The 4th reason is Pascal's wager.
god damn it. Not this fucking argument again.
If you're unfamiliar with Pascal's wager, he paints this situation where it's impossible to prove or disprove the existence of God, but you must still place a wager and choose one side or the other.
Does the words false dichotomy mean anything to you? What if there is no God, but there is an afterlife? What if there is a God, but no afterlife? What if there's a God, but everyone goes to hell, or everyone goes to heaven? Then there's the issue that Pascal wager only takes into account of the Christian God and no other gods, like the Islamic version of God, the Hindu gods, the Buddha God, Buddhism. I don't think Buddhism has much of a god, but then there's all the African traditions, the Mediterranean, all the ancient religions, Odin, Zeus, Thor. Does it count for those?
If you believe in God, but he doesn't actually exist, then you haven't lost anything.
Save for all the time you spent at church and praying, the money you gave to the church with no real knowledge or proof that it's going where they said it was going to do what they said it was going to do. Or they could give you money. You ask for money for charity to feed children in Africa, but then they've taken up 90% of it to put into their own pocket. So you just wasted money.
But if you don't believe in God and he does exist, then you're kinda screwed.
Only if it's the actual God that judges people based on the criteria if they believed and worshipped him. In which case, I want nothing to do with such a God.
The whole point of the wager is to make you think about what makes more sense. Are you gonna bet for God or against God? Pascal's wager is actually low-hanging fruit because it doesn't require any depth or any maturity of faith.
Or knowledge of all the other religions and gods that exist and have existed.
But it's just enough to dam the tide of atheism.
Not really. Just let us atheists know who all the morons and idiots are, i.e. you.
It's a powerful wager because we all have a need for self-preservation.
Really? Because my self-preservation isn't working. How I know this, you ask? A, I'm watching this idiot's video. B, I want to bang my head against the wall till I die. Also, this shows you are only a Christian because you don't want to burn forever ever in hell.
Imagine if you were dying and you were in a room and there was a vial with medicine in front of you. It has a 50-50 chance of helping you. Would it be reasonable to try it? Of course. Either the medicine works or it doesn't work. Either God exists or he doesn't exist.
What he isn't telling you is that the room also has hundreds of thousands of other vials that claim to do the exact same thing as the one he's mentioned. That you only know you're dying because there was a person that told you that you are. He also said that you can only drink one of these vials. Do you feel like your odds now?
If it turns out that God doesn't exist, then it doesn't matter how you bet. But if God does exist, then your only chance for eternal life and eternal salvation is to believe. So why would you or anyone bet against God?
Yes, because I have a chariot of iron.
Atheism is a horrible bet because there's absolutely no chance of winning. And you know what? Whether you like it or not, we all have to play the game. We all have to make a bet because at some point or another, we all die.
Yep. Play the game and hope you pick the right sky fairy that'll give you eternal life. So much for dying.
So if you're an atheist, are you confident in your bet? Can you be sure that there is no God?
I'm the fifth fucking lord. I got chariots of motherfucking iron. So yes, I am fucking confident that I can beat a fictional sky fairy. Now like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll let you borrow some of my fucking chariots of iron. Till next time.